Discarded Angel here. I'm going to read this book called Killer, more like Lover, Jeff the Killer love story. Okay, this is a girl about Molly. She's abused at home and she's a freak at school. But then one day she meets Jeff the Killer and her whole life changes. Well, that's what I know. Okay, let's read this story now. Molly's point of view. I sighed as I walked into the hell they call high school. I made my way to my locker, not making eye contact with anyone as I got pushed and shoved and called names. And I finally got to my locker. There were notes on it. Like every morning, the notes said many things like ugly bitch and freak, and much more. I didn't bother reading them this morning, instead of stuffing them in my bag. I made my way to my first class, which was the only one I could stand, art. I walked into the classroom and made my way to a seat in the back and pulled out my sketchbook. I flipped it to a new page and started to draw what I have been for a while, Jeff the Killer. The reason I have been drawing him over and over is because every time I finish one, it just doesn't look right. Everyone sat down beside me. I didn't bother looking up. I knew who it was. Jason Hurt. What are you drawing today, freak? He said. I ignored him and kept drawing. Don't fucking ignore me, bitch, he said again, getting angry. I kept ignoring him. He grabbed my arm when Mr. Stanley came over. Mr. Hurt, I suggest you leave Miss Black alone, Mr. Stanley said in a harsh tone. Jason let go of my arm and walked away to join his group. I smiled up at my teacher, who returned the smile as he made his way back to his desk. Art class was uneventful. I really didn't feel like heading to math, so I went out to the field and went back to the bleachers that are in the very back towards the woods. I sat underneath them. I started another drawing of Jeff when I heard a twig snap behind me. No one. I shrugged it off and went back to the drawing. Ever get the feeling that you're being watched? Well, I have that feeling now. When the end of the day finally rolled around, I made my way to my locker, shoving my textbooks inside and taking out my bag. I walked out of the back of the school and into the woods. This was the long way to my house, but I enjoy not being home. I pulled out my phone and plugged in my earbuds and put one in my ear, then scrolled through my playlist until I came to the following in reverse. I hit play and my favorite song by them came on. I'm not a vampire. I softly hummed along as I walked along the path I knew so well, when I heard a twig snap, then another, and another. I started to pick up my pace as the twig snapped, turning into footsteps. I stumbled over a tree root and fell to my knees. I scrambled to get up as the footsteps got closer. I made it to my feet as the footsteps were directly behind me. I started to run as I turned out of the woods and onto the sidewalk. I could barely see someone with white skin and black hair. I kept my pace to a fast walk until I got home. When I got to my house, there were no cars in the driveway. I sighed in relief and made my way inside and up to my room. I flopped down on my bed and sighed. I sat up and dug into my bag and got all the notes that were on my locker this morning. I reached down under my bed and grabbed an old shoebox. I opened it like I did every day. I carefully unfolded the notes that were sitting on the bed in front of me. I read every one of them, and when I was done, I folded them back up and put them in my shoebox, which was already overflowing with other notes, and placed the shoebox back under my bed. I sat there for a minute and decided to get something to eat. That was until I heard the front door slam open. "Molly!" my mother screamed. I ran downstairs. Yes, I said, coming to a halt as a few feet away from her. She glared at me. "Clean the kitchen and the living room from top to bottom, and then maybe you can have dinner," she said, as she pushed me out of the way and made her way up the stairs. I sighed and got to work cleaning the kitchen. I finished the kitchen and made my way to the living room, which was a disaster. I checked the time, 8:30. I sighed and began to clean the living room. When I was done, it was 10:30. I put away the cleaning supplies and made my way to my mother's room and knocked on the door softly. "What?" she yelled through the door. "I finished the cleaning," I said loud enough so she could hear me. Fine, go eat," she said, throwing something at the door, causing me to jump. I went back into the kitchen and made myself a sandwich. I ate my sandwich slowly and savoring it. It was very rare that I get to eat at home. After I finished, I went into my room and pulled out my sketchbook, determined to finish my drawing from earlier. I finished my drawing by writing 3 simple words at the top, which were "go to sleep." I put my sketchbook back down and turned out the light and curled into my blankets and fell asleep, faintly hearing the words, "go to sleep." I woke up the next morning and picked out my outfit. Once I had my outfit all picked out, I hopped into the shower. Once I was out of the shower, I put on my clothes. Then I dried my hair and straightened it a little and pinned back my bangs with a little bump. And then put my beanie on like I usually do. After finishing my hair, I put on my jewelry, then I grabbed my bag and left for school. Even with what happened yesterday, I took the long way. I was halfway to my school when I heard footsteps again. I picked up my pace a little, and when I could see the bleachers of the school, I got hit very hard in the head. I stumbled forward a bit and fell to the ground. I tried to get up, but I was hit again. I caught a glimpse of the same white skin and black hair from yesterday. Then I blacked out. Okay, guys, that's the end of the story. Sorry, I might have kind of stuttered a little. Well, sometimes they wanted me to stutter, but sometimes I did it on accident. I might have said I said one word wrong, but sorry about that. Hope you guys liked it, and yeah, this was chapter 1, just for info. Bye guys. Hope you like it. Comment and subscribe and like and all the other stuff you want to do. Well, bye peoples. See you later.